Coming up next, James Austin Johnson. But first, a lot of words from our sponsor. Dana,
David,
we did our first live show in beautiful Austin, Texas.
You know, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. We actually did our podcast live for an audience.
Yeah, it was really fun. You know, when in Texas, I always stop by Jersey Mike's. No, this isn't an ad, but sometimes I go to Jersey Mike's. But if I have a date and it's too casual, they have a new one next door, the nicer version, Jersey Michael's.
Like Lorne Michaels?
Yeah, it's like a 2-star. It's in case you want to up it a
Jersey
notch.
Mike's is where you get all your good stuff.
I've heard about it. I
we
don't
had James Austin Johnson in Austin.
And he was great. He's a present cast member on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And
does Biden and Trump and other things.
And he's in a lot of sketches.
Does a tremendous Trump. Many people, terrific. I'm telling you, many people are saying, excuse me.
Oh.
Excuse me.
I wasn't interrupting.
A lot of people. He was awesome. And we break down his impression of Trump very specifically and what he did with it, right?
We talk about SNL, going to the after parties, live audiences. The live audiences was actually way more fun than I thought because I thought it would be kind of quiet, but they were such a fucking great crowd. They got into everything. They were listening to everything.
They were really into it. It's amazing.
They listened to you a little bit. They listened to me a lot.
They were a little quiet, but it's at points. But
and then he was great, and we did a big Q&A at the end, a big fucking fat Q&A. No net.
Yeah.
No rules.
No rules. Just ad-libbing. I fell asleep twice during it.
During my
eyes were open. No, just it was an hour and a half. I came in. I got up at 5. I flew a long way. I was kind of low energy. Let me tell you something. You're going to be happy. Like you wouldn't believe, this is one of the best podcasts we've ever done. No,
it wound up being a great one. It was a great one.
He's just a young man. I hate it when you get old and you go, this kid, you know, he's like 47. You know, he's like 32. He's in the clubs. He's going along. He did a Instagram thing, and then suddenly he's on SNL, and his wife has a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, what a life turn, and he's killing it on the show, and he's just a nice... Backstage, we got into, you know, I'm not calling it a brawl, but there was some physicality.
Yeah.
Remember you held down James?
We had to keep the two camps apart. Dana's camp and James's team. Do you have a team or a camp?
I don't have anybody. I don't have a Heather...
Dana just walks out like Biden backstage. Hello? Is this the show?
I don't like show business.
No, you're at Saddle Ranch. You're way off.
Come on, I never did that. That's Pirates of the Caribbean, what they said. You know, the people are the pirates.
Biden just gave a speech. He's like, did they ever find out about Johnny Depp and the poop? And they're like, sir, can you stay on focus?
Your wife, you poop on the bed and the pirates. Come on. I can do this.
Anyway, James, he's a stand-up. I watched his stand-up. I asked him about his stand-up questions. I asked him about how he came up with them. I read some of his jokes.
He's an actor. He's a stand-up. Yeah.
And we had a great time.
We had a great time. And James, if you're seeing this, we love you, man.
James, sorry.
That's such good on the stage.
Sorry we made you pay for our valet. I don't bring any cash when I go on the road.
We were at the Four Seasons. He was at the Lucky 8.
I was at the Five Seasons.
Five Seasons? That's more than one.
It has Indian summer.
Yeah, they had Tito's in the bar. I don't drink that flavor.
Every time I was home and I go to my mom, do you have Tito's if I come to your house? Because I'm a little bit of a boozy Susie. And she goes, oh, I don't know if we have Cheetos. I know we have Cheez-Its. That's close. I go, where are you getting Cheetos? Oh, from Tito's. And then I said it again at dinner. I go, did you get any Tito's? She goes, we don't have Cheetos. I told you. I go, Mom, I'm 2 feet away. Why are you still getting Cheetos from this? And you know I already said Tito's.
Cheetos and Tito's. One is a flavorful, salty orange snack.
Yeah.
And the other is
booze.
Mexican booze. I know someone whose mom, they go for a car trip, and his mom's like 85, and she always wants a case of Bud Light for the car trip. She's like 85.
She's a grandma on
Bud Lights
vacation.
all the way up. Yeah. But
anyway,
your
James,
mom's adorable. Remember
she's so adorable. She loves you.
I love her.
She likes you more than me. Oh, where's Dana? He's so funny.
So those texts were real that I'm getting?
Yeah, at midnight.
Really? From Spudley's mom? I wish you were my son.
She starts with "You up?
Oh, I always just say hello.
What up,
when I
church
text.
lady?" I go, "You." I text like a rapper. I go, "Yo, yo, yo," but it's like Morse code. Yo, 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 yo.
Yeah, bro.
Bro.
Yeah, yo, bro. That's kind of
Yo, yo. Do you have a yo-yo?
So, because it was a live podcast, we decided to do a little stand up front. And from my side of it, I hadn't done a lot of stand up because of the pandemic. You've heard of it, COVID. And so I just did my Texas bits. So you'll hear 3 of those because those are 3 impressions that I did. Texans, and it's a local stand up trick to kind of do local stuff. They went crazy, David.
I did a little bit of a grab bag. Just to get them settled in, introduce us, and then we went right to the meat and potatoes.
David's stand-up is really sharp right now, and you have a Netflix special coming out, right?
26th, which will be either 2 weeks from now or 3 days ago, depending on when this airs.
And everyone has an N95 mask in the audience?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you could have waited 6 weeks? I'm just saying, bro.
I mean, bro.
Yo.
It's like
6 weeks later, you got fresh face.
And they weren't clapping either because they had them in straight jackets.
No, they were drenched in sweat and asphyxiated. Bronchial spasm.
No
one can watch a special in an N95. You got to get an N92. I know where to get them. I know how to get it. You're going to be happy. Many people are saying it. But it'll be interesting to watch your special. Were there audience shots? With people with the N95s?
No, we had to borrow some from the Academy Awards 5 years ago where people are applauding.
On my special, we just had Will Smith's face as laughing in the audience.
The giggle before the Armageddon.
What are you talking about?
All right, here he is. James Austin Johnson.
Well. Yeah. Nice. They're filing in. I busted out the V-neck special. It's good to see everyone. This place is beautiful. My God. I haven't been in Austin since the 2 summers ago for the Humidity Festival. Yeah! The Humidity Festival. I'm not going to explain them all, guys. It's going to keep moving like a train. Jesus, Dana. They played Zeppelin. You remember Zeppelin, don't you? Some people do not. It's a tragedy. I was out with a bunch of young people, and that song came on. I go, yeah, Zepp, and they go, Zeppelin. No, I go, you don't know who Led Zeppelin is, and she goes, dude, I don't know who Maroon 5 is, all right? I'm young and you're old. Is there a problem? I go, no, get your edamame, whatever. No, it's nice to see people. Thank you, whoever made it down. I appreciate it. We want to have a good time. It's very nice. I know there's a lot to choose from. Actually, I saw Tim Dillon last night. He's great. It's always a lot of fun here in Austin. If you could sit the fuck down. And, no, I'm so appreciative. Sit up. And... because I played parking lot shows for 2 years. It was very tough. Honestly, I would play a drive-in theater. They'd have 500 cars, and it was horrible. First of all, it was dead silent. I didn't realize that people were inside the car. I didn't think ahead. It was dead silent. And then, and I'm trying to have fun with it going, hey, where my Camrys at? I'm trying to loosen up. And then about 30 minutes later, I hear, meep, meep. Hey, this Geo Prism knows what I'm talking about. It's embarrassing. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go off. I'm going to bring Dana out, and he's going to talk to you, and then we're going to both come out. So I'll see you in 2 minutes. Here you go. Dana Carvey, everybody.
No, sorry. I'm closer in age to Biden than I am any other president I've ever done. So I know he has tight hip flexors. Yeah, we're chilling. Let's do the matter. Gotta do this thing. It's a bunch of pie. That's like Pirates of the Caribbean. Come on. So, my name is still on top. Fuck. Awesome. That means a lot. I haven't done stand-up in 17 years, so this is a little rusty for me. I owe everything to Texas, and I'll explain that. My entire career is based on Texas. And I'm not kidding. George Bush Sr., Texas. Ross Perot, Texas. George Bush Jr., Texas. George Bush Sr., that was the innocent time of political comedy. Gotta do it, education, talking like this, going out there. I didn't know what he thought about my impression. There was no Twitter. He could have, if it was today, he'd be at home going, Dana Garney, doing that impression of me again, waving his arms around like a spastic monkey. Hashtag dick. Could have been. Ross Perot, do you remember him? Anyone over 50? He was a gift from God. He was so naturally funny. Can I finish one time? Can I finish one time? There was a bit of James Brown to him. Can I finish one time? Can I finish? You're not listening. Can I finish one time? Then we got W, the third Texan. That was a happy frat boy. He was just fun. He would tell jokes, they were funny. Two Irishmen walk out of a bar. It could happen. He was the only one who could have debated Trump, because he had that light on his feet kind of thing. Hey, Trump, who does your hair? Stupid cuts. That joke's so good, I'm going for a little ride. So before we light the candle, I just wanted to, because people always ask me, we're having fun doing this podcast. We get to see our friends and we get to talk to them about this seminal moment in their lives of being on this crazy, intense show that just won't quit. It goes on and on. And I think one of my singular famous encounters and one of my favorite moments, it's very quick, but when you're on Saturday Night Live, these things happen to you. I was at the party after the show. I'm with Neil Young. We're having a few glasses, Neil Young, super fan. We're having a glass of wine, I'm having a beer, and we're talking. And he looks up, and he sees Chris Farley, and he just says like this, "That fat kid's funnier than shit."
Oh, dude. Oh, well, we'll tell him when you get out. Introduce your boy, and then we'll tell stupid stories.
Okay, here's a kindred spirit, my brother from another mother, the brilliant impressionist and comedian who just came out of nowhere, and he's with us tonight. We're going to find out. We're going to get underneath the hood. And James Austin Johnson!
Yeah! Oh, there he is.
Y'all started looking that way, so I did a big loop. I was over there, and
I didn't know what was going on.
Hey, this is cool. Let's just have a casual conversation with all these people looking at us.
We'll see how it goes.
oh, there's people.
James, we heard backstage you're getting so famous you're going to add a name to your name.
Yeah.
Are you looking for 4 or 5
Do you get
names?
teased about your name? Because I heard you're playing in Florida and you're being introduced as James Fort Lauderdale Johnson.
Yeah, the name, a lot of people don't know this, is that the name changes based on the cities that I perform in. Last
Very
week.
chameleon.
Something hilarious. What's a hilarious city name? You name it, and that's
Winnemucca.
Yeah, James Winnemucca Johnson. I was born James Nashville Johnson. I'm from Tennessee. So.
Smart.
What's your middle name, David?
I don't know. Let's go to the phones.
Let's go to the phone, Spade.
No, it's Wayne. David Wayne.
David Wayne? No, your real middle name. That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Hey, it's a fly. You guys.
By the way, James, and just forget Dana's here. Talk to me. But when I flew here, this is a mildly funny story about a 2 out of 10. So I was on.
Thanks for the warning.
I was on Southwest, and what happened was, we're on there, and halfway through, they're like, because I go, do they have any food? And they're like so offended I would even ask. I go, is it steak or chicken? They're like, oh, do you remember when they had food on planes? I go, I know, it's stupid. But she goes, we have 5 bags of peanuts left. Halfway through the flight, we're going to shoot them out with a T-shirt gun. But she goes, so look alive, heads up. But then, about 10 minutes before we landed, she goes, we have an announcement. And she came in the middle of the aisle, for real. She goes, you guys, we have an announcement. And she goes, no more masks, and threw it. And then everyone cheered. And then she pulled out a garbage bag, and everyone went, yeah. And then we go, oh, wait, we need them in the airport. But we were so excited, I thought it was a joke.
I had a drunk woman next to me on the way out. She goes, no more masks and no more bras.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I just made that up.
Oh, man.
That's a planned, cute bit. When's your special come out?
26.
Okay, mine was an ad lib. Here's what I do. It's a 9 a.m. flight. James, we'll talk about. We both have a terrible fear of flying.
Well, I'm working on mine, and I feel like with cognitive behavioral therapy, I've really come a long way, Dana.
Really?
I encourage it for you as well. I think that just exposure could be a boon for both of us.
It's never totally. I'm better at it, but it's a 10 a.m. flight. Everyone's having hot coffee, and I'd say, "Could I have a beer?" And they go, okay. And then later on they go, would you like another? And I pretend it's their idea. Oh, really? Oh, all right. It's only
special?
fear, but I only had 2 beers on a 2-hour flight.
I had 1 wine on my 3.5-hour flight, and that's a big deal because normally I have 4 or 5 bottles on the flight.
I have to fly sober. I mean, I can't, to get completely fearless would take a quart of vodka, and I can't afford that. I only drink light beer. But did you have therapy about it?
I remember talking to my therapist about the flight anxiety thing. I was like, what if I get, that was like my excuse for not trying hard at comedy was like, what if I get successful, I have to fly all the time, I'm afraid of flying. And the truth was I just wasn't a very good comic at the time, so no one was going to be hiring me to fly anywhere at the moment.
I asked my therapist about flying, and she goes, oh, it's the worst. Oh, it's the worst. I hate it. That was my
That was her answer?
Yeah. That was her answer. I'm terrible. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, me too.
So you can't help me at all. Great. All right, very good.
So let's circle around to James Austin Johnson.
Let's get back to him for a minute.
Yeah, sure.
I don't really know where to start. If you'd like to go through when you first started doing stand-up.
Sure.
I mean, it's kind of an interesting trajectory that you took.
So in like drama classes in middle school, I memorized like 8 minutes of this clean comic, whose first album was called Rebel Without a Curse. So you know what you're getting. Brad Stein. This guy, Brad Stein. And I memorized stuff about airbags. It was 90s stand-up comedy, and I just memorized like 8 minutes of it, and then as like a 13-year-old or whatever, I would be going to these monologue competitions in empty public schools at 7 p.m. at night while a sullen volunteer listens to me do 7 minutes of someone else's stand-up comedy.
Well, wait a minute. Monologue competitions at empty public schools at night.
Yep.
Okay.
And you would, because I used to memorize Steve Martin. I get that. You'd lock into. I didn't want to be a comedian, but I loved comedy like most kids.
Yeah.
Memorized Steve Martin. I had listened to George Carlin. There was some back then. So it was really, I took pride in knowing that stuff. So I get what you're saying.
Well, that's really great source material. I don't know if I can honor the source. The source material I was cribbing from wasn't one of the greats, necessarily.
Did you have an ear before that, like when you were 7 or 8 or 9?
Oh, yeah.
Did you notice? So was it birds or people, or what were you doing?
Well, I'm the youngest in my family, and I grew up in a very conservative Christian environment, and all of life was sort of oriented around my very important and powerful pastor grandfathers. Like my dad's dad was a very important pastor in our church, in the global church of the Nazarene. That's the denomination I came from. And then my mom's dad was a college president of a Nazarene college. So I was just always competing for attention from people who were 60 years, 70, 80, 90 years older than me.
Church rock stars.
Church rock stars.
Interesting.
That
So
is-
so
were you in a church town? Were you in a church?
Yeah, Nashville is like very, very, very
It is?
churchy. Yeah, you even like a lot of people in Nashville.
I was there. It didn't seem like it at first glance.
You were at the Hedonist Hut downtown
Yeah.
having a cocktail.
Hold on, David.
I was at Kid Rock's country shit show bar, and it didn't seem like.
David, are you? Sorry, hold on for a moment. Are you suggesting there might be a level of hypocrisy among conservative Christian environments?
I don't know.
I just remember like learning, whether like if it was. I remember learning Daryl Hammond's Al Gore, not knowing anything about politics.
Oh wow.
And just repeating that for like adults at church, and then flipping out that like a child is like doing lockbox
Well,
or whatever.
I happened to do it tonight because it was just available.
Yeah.
But you must have a handle on Tennessee.
You look a little like Al Gore.
Al Gore, well, a
you did-
YouTube commenter said Wayne Gretzky the other night, and I didn't feel very good about that.
Wayne
That's not
Gretzky?
bad. He's a stud.
He's a sexy guy, right?
Yeah.
Len Whitney.
Way sexier.
Yeah.
Let me rank who's sexy of the men. No, go ahead. But were you always, we're jumping around, but.
That's okay.
Did you go into stand-up mostly to do impressions, or were you just a straight stand-up
No.
that stumbled into it?
No, I mean, the impressions was just something fun that I would do sometimes with friends, but like soon after doing those monologue competitions and stuff, my dad was like, hey, do you want to fill time at this event at the college? And I did that. I was just like, I was 14 and I said, I'm going to do my own stuff. And like an hour before the show, I wrote a set. I just wrote it. I had no clue how to do stand-up. And the first 2 times I did stand-up at 14, I did great. And then every time until I was maybe 23 was an absolute shit show.
Yeah, that happened to me. The first one, hey, I got this, and then 2 years of
Did
bombing.
you go up with anything you knew what you were going to do, Dana, or what did you do?
I had, these are 70s classics. I had a Captain Kirk bit.
Fuck yeah. Right down the middle.
Right down the middle. I had the only thing that saved me, and I'm going to ask you if you had a fail-safe, was Jimmy Stewart as a waiter. Even in a bar with Hell's Angels throwing beer at me, that would always kill. And it was the only impression I really could do.
Go ahead.
It was Jimmy Stewart. Should I do it?
Of course.
You need me to... You need one of us to guide you
I'm
in?
not proud of it. It's just my love of Jimmy Stewart was so extreme. I wanted to learn to do him. So, no, it's called a tease. My point
he's
is
ramping
this.
up.
I was driving around the peninsula near San Francisco in a Volkswagen Bug with my stoned out friends. I'm like 21, and all of a sudden and I don't know if this has happened to you, but all of a sudden it kind of hit me. I mean, literally, all of a sudden I could do Jimmy Stewart. And this is not a bit. There was a Jack in the Box. I had my friends go in. I went through the drive-through to see if it would work. This is an absolute story, real time. We take your order, please? I said, yeah. I'll have a jumbo jack and cheese. But then later on, it was a bit, and he's just a waiter. Can I take your order? Well, we're not ready yet. Well, I got 10 other tables. What am I, a dancing monkey? Well, we want to know the specials. I told you the specials 10 minutes ago. What? Well, fuck you two.
Oh, no.
That was the fail-safe in the bars. Did you have a bit that would always work?
Oh yeah, I mean the thing that I always dig out is this. I do this long setup, especially if I've already been tanking. I do this a lot at colleges where like if it's already like silent.
Can't imagine.
Like anytime I talk during this podcast. If it's like been silent, I will start telling this long story about like, well, I didn't want to be a comedian. I wanted to be a recording engineer, and then I have this line that I say over and over. I know it's not the funniest part of the show. I know it's a little indulgent, but you know what? It's a piece of my
process.
life. No, that's the line.
Yeah.
That's the line that I say over and over. I know it's not the funniest part of the show. I know it's a little self-indulgent, but you know what? It's a piece of my life, and I like to share it with you. And I end up saying that like 9 times, and hopefully the smart people realize that I'm just setting up a big dumb bit.
Let's hear.
But I'm just like, did you guys know that the Eagles are Scottish? The band, the Eagles are Scottish. I used to work in the studio in Scotland, and kept seeing the Eagles on the wall all the time. And I was like, hey, why are the Eagles always recording here? And my supervisor, I know it's not the funniest part of the show. Maybe it's a little self-indulgent, but it's a piece of my life, and I like to share it. And
This is what this podcast is
That's
about.
all it is. All me doing is Dana do his talk, and then
my supervisor said, did you know the Eagles are actually Scottish? And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. He's like, yeah, they changed their voices in post-production to make them sound like they're from California. It was a big marketing thing. And, and before I go, I just tell you, what's a famous Eagles song, and I'll tell you what it was like to hear the original cut. I got to hear all the original demos. So
Hotel California.
Hotel California was really interesting. Hotel California has a really interesting story behind it. Hotel California is kind of like, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place. Such a lovely face. So I do like 5 Eagles songs, and then I say, did you know that any song is Scottish? Every song ever recorded, any song was originally Scottish. Did you know that that's true? And I just wait till people start shouting,
Songs.
Party in the USA, Miley Cyrus, or something like that. Any song.
give it to us. Freebird.
I'm as free as a bird now! Like, by the end of it, my voice is thrashed, and then I can't do my job in New York City anymore. And
It's impressive because I see you here kind of laid back, and then when I see that come out of you, it's like, okay, that's coming from someplace. It's hard to yell that loud, but we'll get to your trumpet.
Dana, I saw this young gentleman do stand-up at a place called YouTube today. And, but you were on a big show called Hot Tub. I don't know what that is exactly.
Yeah.
But
it's in East Hollywood.
You've done a lot of acting.
Oh, is that a club?
It's Hot Tub is like a show that started in New York. It's hosted by Kurt Braunohler and Kristen Schaal. You probably know Kristen Schaal.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
But they host that every Monday at the Virgil in East Hollywood, in Silver Lake.
Okay, so I saw a clip of you on there, and we're going to go over some of your jokes.
Okay. This is terrifying.
Oh, this is interesting.
I hit up Dana today. I said, I think these are pretty funny. You said Stevie Wonder. There's a song where he talks about how pretty the women are, and you go, why would Stevie Wonder care if they were pretty? And then you say, because he's married. And I thought that was a good misdirect joke.
Yeah, I saw that.
you.
That's a good joke.
Thank you.
I didn't see it coming, and then you talk. No, you don't. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. That's not what I meant. And you said you had some religious jokes. You said, I go to church. I go to off-season church, which is a funny term. So that means not the big holidays. You have to go in the dead parts in the middle.
Yeah.
Where it's the real church.
The red shirt church, scrimmages. Yeah.
And I like you watch Inception. You watch movies with your mom, and she talks. She has questions the whole time just for you.
Yeah.
And wants answers from you during movies, and then you pick Inception, which is funny because it's like the hardest movie to follow.
Yeah.
And then all your mom says is, "Are you gay?"
Yeah, that's her question.
That's her question. The whole movie.
These are great jokes. It's killing.
Those are great jokes. I'm telling them, and they're working because they're great. You did a great job, and they're just funny thoughts, I think. And you were a bit of a Bible thumper. Was that always your whole life? Because some of your jokes, any of them R-rated? Are any of your jokes dirty?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, now they are? But they started not.
No, I was only like a teen Christian comedian. I was only concerned about the like clean Christian comedy until I was maybe like 17 or 18. And then from then on, I wanted to be accepted by the wider world.
And you said, we're going to talk for a few minutes about Poontang.
No, I
changed gears here.
I don't get that rough. I don't know. It's because you want to appeal to as many people as possible, right?
Also, you have a look, you have a feel that I have this too a little bit, not as much, but you sort of cemented your brand of comedy, and they buy a certain type from you. And I think I was on TV for a long time, and not a lot of people knew I did stand up, so they knew me from PG-13 TV shows and movies. And so if I went too far beyond that, they would quiet down. So I had to feel it out like a boxer where they didn't want it too rough from me. And I think Dana's kind of like that too. You're not that dirty.
Well, I think on Saturday Night Live, you have some parameters. You have a censor guy, and so you're limited, which is kind of nice. You like to have some boundaries of what you can do because then you have to get more clever. I mean, Seinfeld famously had a joke that had an F-bomb in it, and he worked for like 3 years in a room to like make it just as funny without the F-bomb.
Right.
But I said fuck a lot tonight because I hadn't done stand-up in a while. If I do a lot of stand-up, those F-bombs go way down because I'm not as jumpy. So sorry about that.
It is funny to be like at a table read and watch like one line in a sketch be like, like there was one thing where Bowen and 80 were doing their pop group thing. This is like this Glitter Revolution.
Yeah.
And they have like a catchphrase at the end of their little like pop group song about Costco or whatever. And their catchphrase for this one was "Pussies to the sky." And you're like watching Lorne being like reacting of like, they're not going to say that on the television. And then, you get there and you watch it at Dress and it's "Holes to the sky." So I've been hearing "hole" a lot on SNL.
Almost grosser.
It is grosser. It's more disturbing.
Yeah, they do that with censorship. They give you a different word that's more sickening and more offensive.
Yeah, it is. Just let them say the gross word because the alternatives are so
Well, I had
terrifying.
that with Church Lady, which I've talked about before.
Oh, yeah,
but
that's it.
I couldn't say. They said that she can't say penis that much, so I had to swap out penis and then do something like that. And it was kind of like your naughty, throbbing, engorged loaf is willing and ready. It was way, way more pornographic.
Bulbous, redheaded meat missile.
Yes. Throbbing and willing. It's like, so they go, that's terrific.
Yeah, good.
Great.
You fixed that problem.
No more penis. Welcome to Throbbing Oregon.
I guess we should ask this guy when the SNL, because we want to get to SNL stuff.
Sure,
but
yeah.
when you all the basic stuff, you're on the road doing stand up. Are you a middle? Are you a headliner?
Oh, featuring for like 10 years straight.
I was a
doing
middle.
20.
That's the act before the headliner. You do about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
That's when I got hired too. So, and you were a full headliner.
Yeah, but I came up early. They were just trying to, can you do 45? I went to a toy store to get bits. I had a trunk like Robin Williams, my idol. I got a guitar because I could fill time. It was they were just building comedy clubs at that time. But so you're a feature act. So take us back, like I know you're married and you just had a child.
Yeah.
So before your wife got pregnant, how many months? Yeah.
How
Give it
did
up
you
for my
have sex?
son Homer, everyone.
How'd you get her pregnant?
You debut on SNL in early October 2021.
Yeah.
So if you take us back before, you were just married and you were a feature act on the road, right? How many months before you became this superstar? Right.
Oh, I was featuring pretty regularly, just like flying out to random clubs, like once every 2 or 3 months, like not steady work, but whenever like a buddy would be able to throw me a bone and
Honey, I'm off to Gutbusters. Okay, see you soon.
Yeah,
That's a real one.
Just some of them.
Gutbusters.
Oh, really? Sir laughs a lot.
Honey, I'm off to sleep in a comedy condo with some grown men smoking Camel Blues indoors and playing Metal Gear Solid. It's such a weird lifestyle, and I in that period when it started to take off for me, that was the height of my plane anxiety and fear, and that kept me from reaching for the stars.
Did fame calm it down a little bit?
Did fame calm it down? So when my wife and I got back together, so she was my first girlfriend ever. Then we broke up for like 5 years, and a lot of my time in LA, I was single, and then we got back together in 2017. And that's when I did JFL in Montreal. I was a new face there, Just for Laughs,
right.
And, my career started to like take shape, and I was like, oh, I could probably actually do this professionally.
And can I just ask you what? So she was your first love, and then 5 years, and then what made you come back around? Do you think, if you could share that with us? It's maybe kind of. Is
And
she?
make it as personal as possible.
Is she? My wife's Irish Catholic to the core.
Oh, really?
And so I like religious people.
I mean, my wife and I aren't religious. Our families are, though.
Oh,
so we're
okay.
the like.
You have sex?
We have sex, yes.
She whispered it and said, ask him.
Austin is nasty tonight.
Filthy.
Yeah, let's see. We when we got back together, I saw her on Instagram. I saw that she was in LA for a Dolly Parton show, and I thought maybe we'd hook up or
Here
something.
we go. Hashtag Dolly Parton show. Let's see who's there.
I thought we'd get beers and like make out a little bit or something. I was like, oh yeah, maybe we'll hook up. That'll be sweet. And then we just like immediately were like engaged like within very, very quickly.
That's
it was one of
nice.
those things where it's like, oh, I'm marrying this person. So when she's studying to be a counselor, her dad is like a counselor, her mom is a counselor, and they sort of helped me adjust to like flying, and like they helped me sort of hook into overcoming my like crippling anxiety with travel and all that stuff, and I'm just good at it now.
How
I
are you
enjoy
with
it now.
anxiety on Saturday Night Live? You know, Bill Hader. It was just horrible for him.
Crying and sobbing in the bathroom.
Panics.
You knew the bathroom he's talking about, right?
Yeah, I know. I go
At
in there
SNL.
sometimes.
Yeah, the sob chamber.
That's a co-ed bathroom, and I will say that I have anxiety shits sometimes.
Okay, we're gonna go to a quick commercial.
We're gonna do a deep dive on the.
So it's not fun to. It's not
Now,
fun.
what kind
to,
of load are we talking about?
Are we talking loafs?
No, I don't really have anxiety with SNL. It's like it's the.
What?
It's the only thing. It's like the job that I truly enjoy. Now, am I having fun live? I can't say that I am loose and having fun yet. I am too fearful of not getting the cards right and not getting the camera cut right, and I'm still totally stuck on all that. But the job is super fun. Like it's hearing y'all talk to like Bill about loosening up in your like 4 or 5 seasons in, playing around, like watching Keenan, how he can like grab his card really quick and like go back into the scene. Like I'm just watching the experts do it, and I'm hoping that I'll absorb that soon.
There's nothing like just doing it over and over again. But yeah,
Exactly.
you'll get looser.
There's a feel of always wondering if your job is steady and if you're going to get fired. So, which is legit. Everyone does.
I didn't really have that. I got to be honest. I got lucky.
It's true.
I had the church lady the first night out.
You
so-
came out of the box hot, and I was more just trickling in over time, and it was tougher because they could have cut me and no one would have noticed. That was the hard part. You came out, they would have noticed.
Well, you were my understudy.
Oh yeah, I came in as his understudy, so it was like, we have a good one of that. So do we need the other one? I was literally like,
No, Lauren would say to me,
Fucking
David's
Aaron
always
Rodgers waiting
ready.
for
David's always ready, Dana. And you'd sit behind me and read through.
and I go, don't blow it, guy. But did you?
You were always funny.
Did you? Oh yeah. When did Lauren call you? No. First of all, you
Oh, yeah.
auditioned. And do you audition all stand-up or impressions or both?
Okay, so I was just like a straight stand-up pretty much all my career, and it was really during the pandemic that I started like when I did New Faces in 2017, I did Louis C.K. It's part I did
As an impression?
I did like spiritual Louis C.K. That was like my closer. Was like, do you ever just have like a moment with the universe or God, or however you define that presence in your life, and you go and it's amazing. You go outside and the sky is blue, and that's enough.
Damn! That's like a magic trick.
It's a magic trick. I do like.
And
To me, it's like a magic trick.
my daughter's a dick. Yeah.
And you had Louis, and that was your only one?
That was the only. I would just.
Were you doing it on TikTok? Because I swear to God,
No.
I thought I saw you. Did you walk around and film yourself doing Trump?
Yeah, so like when the pandemic happened and comedy died in LA, I would just my wife and I were just stuck in our 200-year-old apartment in Glendale in a crumbling rat-infested building.
$22,000 a month.
Exactly. Have you seen my bills?
I love
And I would just go out on those walks by myself, and that's really where the Trump started to truly take shape. I would try it on stage, and I would do the thing that a lot of people do with Trump, where they just say the crazy things he said.
Yeah.
And half the people were pissed off that I was reminding them that he said crazy shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other half of the people were like, you can't talk about Jesus Christ that way. There was like, I could never get the room because half the people were like obsessed with him and the other half were like, don't even mention Voldemort. So when I started talking about like wizards and swords and like stuff that makes no sense, that's like, that's when the audience started enjoying the Trump
Dana,
impression.
I saw this clown. I was like, maybe it was Instagram, but
Instagram and Twitter.
It popped up, and it was like you're walking, but it didn't seem to match your face. Like the voice, I thought was really Trump, and you were just mouthing along because you were talking very casually, and it was stream of conscious. You were talking about different things, and it's very hard to be put on the spot and do an impression because. You know, I've done a few in my day, but I see how Dana does it. And there's little hooks you do, like any impressionist. And so if you can't go to those hooks, because you sort of memorize a bit in your act where you get to hit all the good spots. But like if you're on a radio show and they go, hey, what would he think about this? And you're like, oh, shit. Like, A, you don't have any jokes about it. And B, you're just trying to talk and match the tones and everything. That's really hard to do and all the shading. And you were doing it. And I was like, this guy's pretty good. I remember sending it to people. And then when you got SNL, I go, is that same dude that was just walking around the neighborhood?
just walking around.
But it sounded so good that I wasn't really shocked. I just go, I can't believe they found him.
That's, I mean, yeah, I did get lucky. I think it may have been, because I had a podcast called What Things Are What Things, where we just, we would match up what things are what things. Like, what Jackass cast members are what sandwich ingredients. We'd have a guest on, and they'd be like, well, I think Johnny Knoxville is probably roast turkey.
Sure.
And then they explain their answer. And I would always come on as a character. So on this podcast, that's how I got used to like doing an impression for like 10 minutes straight. So that's where I worked on Joe Biden. I did Bob Dylan. I would do Bob Dylan a lot,
What era, Bob? Like recent? Or?
I would do like the Sirius XM theme time radio Bob Dylan.
Oh, okay.
Like the recent
Well, we got another hit by we got another hit by the Ink Spots. Five brothers who love to sing incredible music. And here they are singing Java Jive.
So I would do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then he would spin off talking about his son Jacob Dylan, like,
Oh no, Jacob Dylan doesn't want to hang out with his father for a damn. I said, I want to go to IKEA. Why can't you bring me to IKEA with you? I like to pick up a little pencil. I like to mark down what couches we found affordable. Why won't you go to IKEA with your father, Jacob Dylan?
I'm waiting for that on SNL. That's awesome.
I want to do. We pitched
a new
it.
Bob Dylan
Work it
impression.
in.
We pitched it. So those,
that time will come. I just feel like right now.
Not ready yet.
Yeah, so Dana, you'll do David. David will do Dana.
Oh, yeah. That's Lauren. I was going to say, do you have a Lauren?
I do there's a lot of Lorns that people do, and I think the Lorn that you do, I think, is rooted in the era probably that you met him, right?
Yeah,
and
it's a little deeper now.
He's a little deeper now, and it's like,
Well, it's almost spring. It's almost spring, and people will be going outside.
he's very soft-spoken.
Maybe a good show this week.
Yeah, it would be nice if we did comedy.
Any comedy lined up for read-through?
We're going to have a 2-week break, and it'd be really nice to go home and not have people mad at you.
Yeah. People ask you about the show, you'll say you enjoyed the show, and you'll be talking about the show, and James will do Dana, and David, you'll do James.
He goes to me,
All right.
David, everyone's going to tell you you're the best person on the show, and you're not.
You're not.
And I go, they do say that. Because all you do is, it happens to every cast member that their friends all go, you're the funniest one on the show. And then Lauren regulates and goes,
Yeah.
That's what they tell each cast member. And it was kind of a wake-up call, but it was true. It's good to, because I was like, what, everyone? And then I think of everyone as friend, mom, family, dad.
Yeah. Brother, sister. They fucked you, man.
Yeah,
you
you're so good. Why not?
I'm going to break down just for my own amusement.
Yeah, sure.
James's awesome Trump, because I think that the way you do it is like free association jazz, and I know you can.
I wanted to say that a podcast clip of mine that I think it caught on with like Seth Meyers and his group of friends, because it was Trump talking about 2000s New York alt comedy. It was like I had been doing Trump.
Do you want to do it a little bit?
Then our guest Whit Thomas was like, "Hey, weren't you a comic back then in the 2000s in New York?" And I'd be like,
Oh yeah, you know what? It was so wonderful to be with comedy. You know what? With comedy, it was never about the shows. It was never about the shows. It was about the diner afterwards. We loved the diner. And I'd be eating pancakes. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Oh, he's a little tamer back then.
Can I talk, please? She's not giving me any moment to talk. I'm eating pancakes with Patrice O'Neill, and I just can't believe that I get to do this every night. It's so wonderful. Greatest city on earth. You do Gotham, and you do Rafifi, and maybe you'd get a spot at the Boston or something, and a couple dollars in your pocket, and you say, oh, this is a pretty good gig. Made $300 tonight, maybe buy a PlayStation or go to Gap.
There's so much detail in that, and you did the little breath thing, Here, I'll give you.
"Thank you very much."
I'll read these as myself.
Okay.
Like, these are just Trump things that you've incorporated with free association. I bet you never wrote these down or anything, but I watched your thing. Okay. Frankly, let me tell you, you're going to be seeing a lot of it. I can tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I can tell you. Let
me tell you, frankly.
Okay, let me tell you.
You can read it if you can read those.
Frankly, let me tell you, you're going to be seeing a lot of. Excuse me. I can tell you that. That I can tell you. I can tell you that. when you look at.
Yeah, that connector phrase. Like, ask me something that I do. So you're going to be a reporter. You're going to ask the real Trump a question he doesn't have an answer to. So I'm just going to not have an answer to it.
Right. So do you think we're going to increase exporting natural gas to Europe?
When you look at what China's doing in terms of esports. Really, when you look at all of it, if you look at gas, gas is one thing, but frankly, when you're looking at all the rest of it, I can tell you that, when you look at what they're doing with, and look at what the Democrats have told us.
Oh, I love it.
The way that he can,
Let's do another one.
he'll just spin it off into like his mesmerizing like way of talking in some other
Flip
place.
the page. There's more if you want to see. I had to write.
And it didn't work out so great for some of those people.
And it didn't work out so great for some of those people.
Work out, yeah.
I love that one. Man, we were all listening to his voice for 4.5 hours every day for like 5 years.
You're the one who put it all together, and then you made it into this supernatural.
And look at what they're doing.
Let's see.
Look at all of it. Frankly, look at all of it.
Look at all of it.
And people are very disappointed.
Like you wouldn't believe.
A lot of
People are very disappointed, like you wouldn't believe.
That's a big one.
There is a level of disappointment that would make your head spin, frankly. There's so much disappointment. People are angry.
What people? What are they angry about? It never matters.
He always says anybody. He says someone, and a lot of people are saying very bad things about someone.
You're hearing it more and more all the time.
It's all very end run. It's vague and it goes into a corner.
You know what?
terrible deal, a really bad deal. You're seeing it all over the place. Many people are saying, okay.
You're seeing it all over the place. Many people.
And they're saying we don't want that. We're not people who want that. We're not people. We are going to be doing something very soon. We are going to be doing something about it. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. My favorite was when he was at the rallies during the height of COVID. And he was like, and they can't even tell you what the 19 stands for. It's literally 2020. It's 2020, and I'm like, context clues, what do you think the 19 probably stands for? The 2019 version of the virus?
I think that was all I had. But
man.
He does say words like old-fashioned words like terrific and fantastic. Things like your dad says, your grandmother, that aren't the vernacular as much anymore, but he keeps throwing them in there. It's so, it reminds you that he's
do you want to
75.
do?
Oh yeah, he's 75, and it's the mix of the old-timey language and the old-timey way of thinking and speaking about people, but he's obsessed with something rude that Lady Gaga said about him on a radio show or something. Lady Gaga was very rude.
Not nice.
And she was not nice.
She was not. There's also the kindergartner thing of just like breaking down what would have been a more elegant phrase with another presidential candidate and just breaking it down to like the caveman fragment, like not nice, very big.
Stone cold loser.
He's a stone cold loser.
I mean, that's where you get the
talks like
80s wrestler thing.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a little bit of 80s wrestler to it, too.
Yeah, WWE. Now, you do something, a little birdie told me, you do something, well, where someone could give you a famous TV show and you could talk about it as Trump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that.
Well, since they don't think this is not pre-planned, you guys yell out any kind of famous
TV show?
Okay, there's 200.
What did you hear?
I can't.
The A-Team.
The A-Team? The Wonder Years?
Anything you've heard of.
You know what? With Winnie Cooper, she was very beautiful. But I don't think that Mr. Savage, Mr. Savage just needed to wait his turn. I think that he needed to wait his turn with Winnie because Winnie wasn't ready for what they were doing with Wendy. And Joe Cocker is such an awful person when you meet him. With Joe Cocker, that is someone who needs a little bit more help from his friends. I think he probably had to. You know what? They said that he got high with the help of his friends. I said, what kind of friends are that if they're helping you with drugs and they're helping you, and you look at China, you look at what they're doing with Russia, what they're doing with, honestly, what they're doing in Austin, Texas is absolutely awful. I think it's such a terrible thing with the segways and the river and the bats. You know those bats shit everywhere. Those bats are shitting on all of it. And I said, I was looking around, they showed me the bridge, and I said, we got to do something about this bat problem. Got to do something about the bats because, and you know what they call it? Guano. Did you ever hear that? They call it guano. Have you ever heard that? I said, what the hell is guano? And they said, it's what they call the poop, and they poop straight down the front of their breast. You know, they poop, and you see the poop on their, like, what does it go in their mouths? So we've been talking to Dracula, we're talking to Frankenstein. We're going to do something about the bats because the bats, frankly, should be sleeping horizontally. And this whole thing that Joe Biden and Kamala, they want the bats to be hanging upside down. They want you to be eating bats every night.
There needs to be a brazen claim about what something the Democrats aren't doing, but there's like a I mean, come on.
Well, that was all from the Wonder Years?
Yeah.
They were always talking about China on the Wonder Years, I remember.
Yeah.
You know, it was Savage. Savage was very involved with everything that was going on with China, in terms of
China
wall and with regard to microchips and supply chain. I mean, it's really awful with Steve Jobs and all of it. I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible.
It's like you don't really need like jokes. It's just the rhythm and the references are so funny.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know about you. I just listen to this for hours. I mean, I just love
That's how
the flow of it.
That's how he led us for 4 years. Is because it is fun to hear him talk.
It's fun to hear it, whether you like him or not like him, whatever your politics are.
You're right.
You will probably be hypnotized by the weird rhythmic way that he speaks. I mean, it works. It does work.
Like how he'll just repeat, "You're gonna be winning like you wouldn't
It's
believe
going to
it."
be so good. Like, you just believe it because he said it 20 times in a row.
Within 1 minute.
Within 1 minute.
It's going to be so. You're not going to. It's so good. It's going to be incredible. Frankly, it's going to be very, very good.
Like, so I understand why my grandpa, who was like hardcore conservative, you know, who would never have voted for a Trump in his life. But the minute that Trump was on TV 24/7, if you just hear, "I'm going to be amazing at this," over and over and over again, and the people that hated him gave him the most airtime. They're like, "Can you believe that he's saying this?" I'm like, probably.
They call it the Trump bump on CNN. They got a billion net per year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just fun to hear him talk, and it's mesmerizing, and it works.
It's good that he has energy, and then you go from that, and then Biden doesn't seem to have a ton of energy. So it's not. You're more like concerned for Biden that he's okay. Like, I hope someone's near him in case he tips. You know. So it went from Trump, this guy, and then it's just the exact opposite. So it's just not as fun for comedians to. There's not as much there, I don't think.
It's a very quiet kind of.
Yeah, he's quiet, and Biden, threading the needle with Biden is tricky. For one thing, there's just like an exhaustion in the audience, like not even just on SNL, but like when I go out and do stand-up. If I'm doing stand-up in Nashville or a blue state or wherever it is, a red state, a blue state, doesn't matter. Like, people are kind of like tired of talking about who the president is all the time, and it's like, you know, with Joe, we just know that he's going to be over there and he's going to be doing his thing. And it's like their audiences don't, it feels like they don't want you to go in on Biden. Like, I always feel like, oh, am I doing him too old? Am I playing up the stutter? Because like, if I do the stutter a lot, like, I get people who are like, you shouldn't make fun of people's stutter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, have you heard how I make fun of Donald Trump?
Right.
Because
it should be fair
I'm pretty mean to Donald Trump. Like,
If Biden was a hardcore Republican, what would SNL do to him?
I don't know.
But it's a sensitive one. This one we never had.
Alec was clearly hates Trump, so it comes through as a mean impression. I think at least your Trump is just a funny, goofy one, like it used to be on SNL, like with Dana, with Bush, and Biden. I guess it's a little softer on him, but maybe because he seems more ginger or something. I don't know.
It's weird. It's like with Trump, it's like his body is like melting. He's like afraid of stairs. He doesn't want to walk uphill. There's like all these things where he's very like a Jacques Tati, like silent film kind of French comedy character.
Yeah.
But his brain is super sharp, and he's just ready to scream about, you know, like Sarah McLachlan. Like, he's ready to scream about a celebrity.
Anything.
It's oxygen to him.
That is
Joe, and it seems like Joe is not ready to talk. He wants to be silent. And his body, like, when you see Joe Biden, he's like always wanting to like jog around and hop on things.
I know, I was doing it. He's got tight hip flexors.
So he's... So you have the guy whose like body is there, but like,
I know,
you know, like the speech isn't rapid like Trump. He's not like a powerful like bam 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 speaker, and then he does spark up. Like you'll see when Biden like sparks up. Like when he on the campaign trail, there would every once in a while there'd be a time like right in the middle of a speech where he's like, yeah, we're gonna be working hard, start better jobs for everybody, jobs so we can get the kids working again. That'd be great. The kids can't buy cigarettes. The kids buy cigarettes. Kids used to be able to buy cigarettes. They can do it. They can do it whenever they wanted. It was good. Kids could do it whenever they wanted, and the kids love to smoke cigarettes. And then he'd like coast back down again. I was like, that's what we're working on, right? It's not about yesterday. I don't want to be president yesterday. I don't care about him.
Come on, let's get real.
It's not about yesterday. Yesterday you said you'll call Sears. I'll call today. You'll call now.
Yeah.
I'll call now.
My father lost his job. No joke. I'm not kidding around here. Yeah.
You know, my mom used to have a saying.
That's my favorite Joe Biden thing.
Yeah.
My mom used to have a saying.
Yeah.
And then you just fill it in with whatever thing you need to say in that moment.
My mom used to have a saying.
Yeah.
She said, We need more auto plants in Michigan.
Or whatever thing he needs to say
Very
at that moment.
old-fashioned.
It's like, I don't think your mom used to
We
say that
shouldn't
at the
rely on
breakfast table.
cargo ships. She said that a lot before
And he makes a list. That's one of his hooks.
Yeah, yeah.
Number one, what the guy said. Number two, you know the drill. Come on, folks. Let's get real. I'm talking loud now.
Yeah.
Watch me talk loud. I know how to talk loud.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like he's kind of spitting into the wind, wanting that energy, the Corvette 50s guy come out, And he's pretty loud.
He sees that prompter and he kicks into a full sentence. He's like celebrating.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I got the whole thing. He looks around, waiting for an applause break. They're like, keep going.
Come on. I'm on a roll. It's in the band that said Pirates of the Caribbean.
It is Jimmy Stewart. Stewart. It's Jimmy Stewart, and I try to mix in a little Owen Wilson into it.
Oh, wow.
There's like,
sort of, yeah.
You know how Owen Wilson always has that moment in the buddy comedy where he has to psych up the other guy? Like, come on, man, I trusted you. You're the best skater here.
So it is Biden.
I see you skating, and I think, wow, I want to do that. So that's, I bring an Owen Wilson into my body.
It's fun to have dinner with Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
He's got a great voice. But it's a bit of that. But on SNL, it's a kind of a tough little sort of, it's
tough
more
to
delicate.
It's tough to thread that needle just because, if you do go too savage on him, you run into a thing of like, don't kick grandpa.
That's
kind of
too
thing.
far. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and Trump is just not seen as grandpa. He doesn't get the societal.
No, look at the strength of his voice.
benefit.
When you do it, it's like really loud.
I know. He still thinks it's 1987. He still thinks he's like partying with like at Epstein's house, Look at all this beautiful tail. Like he still thinks.
I know he was not. I don't think he was happy with Alec Baldwin's impression. Have you heard anything? Any feedback?
They took him off Twitter. I wonder if he still had Twitter, what he would be saying about the SNL.
Other than you're horrible at it.
He's terrible at it.
Terrible.
I do miss him on Twitter. I think it's good to like hear what people have to say in general. That's like my opinion on all that is like.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, hear both
Let
sides.
him talk.
Let him talk because
like Bernie
he's probably,
Sanders said. What are you afraid of, Woods?
let him talk because if you don't like him, he's going to say something that you can latch onto for the next couple years. You know what I mean? It's like, it is, but I also get why they kicked him off because it's like, dude, shut up. Like I get both sides of it of just being done with it of like, I can't hear him talk every day for 10 more hours. And so now I do that to people. Now I am the person who makes them listen
You are
to
Trump right now, publicly.
I think so.
You've become Trump.
It's weird. Like, you'll see the YouTube comments after a cold open, and people are like, why are they still doing Trump stuff? He's irrelevant. And I'm like, I don't know. He's kind of the most consequential figure in American politics still. Like, very important cultural figure.
Well, he's going to run in 2024.
He's the leader of the Republican Party. He's just an important person to hear from. Like, it's not irrelevant.
Where does his energy come from? He's 300 pounds. It's Kentucky Fried Chicken, hot dogs and hamburgers.
Filet-O-fishes.
He's almost 80. What the hell?
Does he drink Tab? I drink 300 tabs a day.
300, a lot of tabs, I can tell you that.
Well, we're doing wonderful work with RC Cola and with.
It'd be RC Cola.
I like wonderful work.
Because that's so 80s or 70s.
And I love to personify something that is not a real person and brag that I have a relationship with them. Like,
RC and I, by the way, Mr. Pepsi and I are very good friends. Pepsi, Richard Pepsi is a very important person to me, and our wives are friends. We play golf sometimes. And I'm very good friends with Dr. Pepper.
He's been to Mar-a-Lago.
Dr. Pepper was at Mar-a-Lago last week. His daughter had the most beautiful wedding dress you've ever seen. And I said, Pepper, you've got to, 23 flavors. We could be doing 24, 25.
So that was like.
It's just everything you say as Trump is funny. I've officially believed that
Yeah,
that
it
is.
just sounds.
I worry that I'm painting myself into a corner. Like, am I going to have another character that's this fun to do? Like,
Will any of us? Will any of us ever see another personality like Trump on the political stage?
I mean,
it's hard
yeah,
to
you
fathom.
never will. You never will.
You know. Yeah,
too
you can be
funny.
a supporter of Trump. We're fine with that. So
I don't care. All right, anything else?
I've got a lot of people there. I just love that thing too that you do, that guttural.
Oh yeah, the chisel on like some dead paint on a windowsill.
Yeah, because everybody did the soft, sensitive one, but then you went like this.
Yeah,
She's got great legs. She's a beautiful person.
that's 80s, 90s Donald Trump, and then I guess screaming at assistants
Right.
on the set of The Apprentice is what gave him that Tom Waits bed of ambience. You know, Hillary. You know, where did that come from?
I have one little rhythm that I don't know if I've only heard it once, and
What?
you can use it if you want to. It's very subtle. He's doing a list, and then he fades away. This is when he's at a rally.
Yeah.
And he does this slow fade on the last line. I'll just I'll do my
Go for it.
mediocre Trump at this point. Inflation's going very high. It's going 6, 7, 8, $10 a gallon. How high can you go?
Yeah.
That's, I don't know where that one is. You put that in there.
I think, the
How
rally.
high can you go?
How high can you go?
Yeah, he drifts off.
But he goes, go. It's another tone.
That's like the stand-up showman part of it, right? Like where he's doing, that's like mic work.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm looking at the windmills that we've got, and I'm looking at what they're doing with Volkswagens, and we're not going to be doing that too much of it.
Yeah.
not going to be doing that.
It's like, it's so obvious. How high can you go?
Because people
Also-
are like screaming and clapping.
He's
so it
like
doesn't-
looking at the side stands over here, and he's doing
Yeah.
that, and then he loses the mic for a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah, it's like, it's so obvious.
Joe Biden doesn't even know where he is.
That's like, I think who have I seen do that? Like Bill Engvall or somebody? That's like that is like a stand-up.
It's a
stand-up.
stand-up.
That's a
trip
stand-up-y
ice.
thing.
Yeah.
It's like a Def Jam thing or something. It's like
Def
a
Jam.
Bernie Mac thing or something.
All right, what else you got for him
brilliant.
before we got to do a Q&A?
I don't know. I think we should do the Q&A. I've just enjoyed James Austin Johnson.
Yeah,
I've
he's great.
enjoyed so much.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is fun.
James, thank you very much.
We wish you all the best. If this is before we're going to do the Q&A.
Should I clear out?
Yeah, you clear up. Does he stay or is he must?
No, I get. Well, whatever you want to do, you got to.
No, why does he stay? And then they can ask him about SNL or anything.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, you guys, we'll do a little Q&A. Oh, I guess we can sit down for this. Okay.
Or we could stand up if we have to do.
Oh, we're
something.
going to have a microphone, and then we'll have people walk. This is going to be a shit show. Okay, you've got a microphone. Go to him, and we'll answer a few. If anyone has any, if they don't, they don't. It's okay.
It's okay. It's no problem.
Anything about, really whatever. Oh, well, make a line. If there's anybody that wants to, come down here, and then you can ask, and it'll be official.
Oh, there's the
Yeah,
mic.
that way it'll get picked up on
And
the
then we
podcast.
can hear it. 'Cause we have
Don't
our-
be shy.
I like the people in the way balcony up
People
there.
are, see you guys.
Look at that.
Jeez Louise.
They're like, these tickets were a nickel. We couldn't pass it up.
They were looking at the top of our head for the last.
I know. They're like, Spade,
Hey,
take off the hat.
How high can you go? All right. Here's a man that's brave.
This guy's
That's a
coming
brave
right
soul.
down. Oh, this guy jumped a lot.
Oh.
He's right in the front. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay,
What do you
they're
got,
both
boss?
husky.
So obviously you guys are hilarious, right? But
Thank you.
I'd like to know who else on the cast did you really find funny? Like just really cracked
yeah.
you up when you guys were preparing?
Maybe we'll go down the line. In my years, I lucked out into a chunk where I had Dana, I had Mike Myers, I had Kevin Nealon, Dennis Miller, Farley, Sandler, Chris Rock. I mean, we really got Schneider, Tim Meadows. I really hit a pocket there that they said was bad at the time, and 5 years later they said it was funny. And Dana, what about you?
I got to partner up with 3 different comedians. Like Kevin Nealon and I did Hans and Franz, the Arnold. And that was still maybe my favorite thing to do. But right before Kevin would be Kevin, and then right before they'd go 5 seconds, his eyes would just change and his IQ would go down like 50 points. And then, with Phil Hartman doing...
Of course.
Johnny Carson with Phil, God rest his soul, very good friend, and one of the all-time greats. He would do Ed McMahon, and just every time he, yes, you are correct, sir. You are. And then, of course, my brother from another mother, Mike Myers, and us doing Wayne's World. So, really, everyone who does this show and survives it and on any level has my respect. It's a really hard show to do and to get, and it's so fun to see James thriving there.
James, what about you? You working with some good people right now?
You know, when I think of like things that happen at Table Read that were just like so funny and like the hardest I've ever laughed, like when Chris Redd introduced his Mayor Eric Adams thing.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
City,
yeah,
that was the feeling in the room was just insane. With the bitch, I'm from New York. Like the way he does that was just incredible. And
hysterical.
Andrew Dismukes, I write with a lot, and I think he's really, really funny.
He is.
Yeah, there's a lot of great writers there too.
Yeah, there's 55 people on the cast this year, and it's a lot to choose from. It's a big cast.
It's hard.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll keep our answers to 12 minutes. Go ahead. Next one.
The late show
Other side.
starts.
I'm sorry. This young man.
Can you do another Trump as the apprentice, but you're firing David because he didn't sell Solinsky brake pads?
Oh, okay.
It's pretty sophisticated.
Richard. Okay.
All right, here we go.
You know, the whole thing with Tommy Boy was, you know, they did Black Sheep too, and I thought with Tommy Boy, where was Aykroyd with Black Sheep? I think it was awful that they didn't have with Dan Aykroyd. Maybe he did that picture, I don't know, but that guy with aliens and all of it, it's so awful what he's doing with vodka and with House of Blues.
That's the best I can.
That's it. Yeah.
All right.
And you're fired.
Thank you.
That's great.
Hi, I just had a question for, I think you guys are all great. David, do you have any other plans for any more books?
Any more books?
He's an author.
Well, no, I did that one Polaroid in the Snapchat world, and then, it turned into an audio book, and that did well, so that sort of got me thinking about podcasting, because it's audio and it's voice, and then it turned into Dana and I are old buddies, and we want to do this. This isn't really answering your question, but that.
Any more books?
And no, I don't think any more books because they're too hard. But thank you, and thank you for asking. Boss over here with your drink.
I've never done this before. So, gentlemen, it's sort of my birthday from Chicago. Just flew back from Vegas 4 hours ago to see y'all.
That's
from Austin,
nice.
Texas. Lived here 14 years. I would love your favorite Chris Farley and Norm Macdonald story
Oh, okay.
on Saturday Night Live. And you are the smartest, funniest comedians of all time. That's why we're all here. So thank you so
That's
much.
nice. Thank you.
It's true.
Thank you very much.
Very sweet.
Dana, you probably have one. I have a quick Chris one where we would share an office, and he was sitting behind me. We had like a 10 by 10 office. I don't know if you know where it is. It's it's on 17, but it connects to the other one. So Chris and I had this one, and then you walk through us to get to, I guess it was Sandler and Rock. So Chris would sit behind me, but he didn't write, or read much. And so I would be writing on a legal pad. We didn't have computers, so I'd write my sketches, but it was so hard, and he'd sit behind me bored because everyone would write 300 sketches for him. So he goes, David, what are you doing? And I go, Chris, get out of here. I got to write some shit. And he goes, David, turn around. I go, if this is Fat Guy in a Little Coat again, it's not funny anymore. And he goes, no, it's not. It's a new thing. And then I turn around, he's got my Levi jacket on, going, Fat Guy, Little Coat, don't you quit on it! And then we put it in the movie because it sounded funny. Dana?
He always called me the lady because of the church lady. Chris Rock also, even today, will say lady, and Chris Farley, they called me lady. Norm Macdonald was, I don't know, supernaturally funny. He was he saw my stand-up once, and he picked out the worst bit that I did. It was very Norm, but I loved him. But he backstage going, yeah, you should do. That's really good doing that. You should do a lot more of that one. That's really. that's really funny, right? Yeah. And then I would do him back to him, and he would laugh. Would love both of them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did was Nurse Teresa there?
Yeah.
She's still there, and she told me that my dressing room is Chris Farley's old dressing room.
Oh, wow. Shit.
So that's like a weird, cool connection that I have to the.
Oh, that's it.
that
Nurse
era.
Teresa. Yeah,
She was very sweet.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, which side? That side.
So I have a shout out and a question. My shout out is to Dana Carvey. The Dana Carvey show was just like this little bit of genius.
Yeah.
He did the best week.
The documentary about it was great, and man, a reunion would be amazing. Yeah. But my question for James is the Trump skits are they feel like stream of consciousness, but obviously they're written. Like, how do you write those bits?
Could have just recorded tonight.
Yeah, do you write them alone at SNL, or is there people that are set to write Trump?
No, it's very collaborative. I mean, they write the cold opens like Saturday morning. So like a lot of times I'm busy with blocking or a pre-tape or something. And so, but what we usually do is now the writers have a pretty good handle on like the notes I like to hit and the things I like to do. Like last week, with Easter, we did the first script at run through, and then we have a dress rehearsal after that, and then the big show. So I'm getting put into my giant prosthetic piece at 7 p.m. for the 8 p.m. dress rehearsal, and I can't see anything because they're putting the big eye bags on me and the giant jowls and. So the writer, Mike DiCenzo, sort of came up to me with the script, and this is usually how we end up working it out, where he's like, hey, do you like all the stuff about Reese's and things like that? And I'm just like, yeah, read it aloud to me, and I'll just like throw out little lines. And so he was like reading it line by line, and I'd be like, oh, a Reese's egg, he should talk about how he's good friends with Reese, and it'll be that kind of thing.
They have the hooks down.
So they have like the subject matter, and then sort of I'll throw out I talked to you like my second week at the show.
We did talk.
I asked
on the phone.
On the phone.
Yeah.
I asked for your phone number, and I was like, how do you do this cold open and the president thing and injecting yourself into it, and you're new there, and I just didn't know, and you were like, you can throw out little lines when you're rehearsing and stuff like that. And so now I've gotten comfortable with when a writer comes up to me, being brave with like a joke I think would belong in or something like that. And it's very collaborative, but I don't write those all by myself. I just throw out little jokes here and there.
But you broke the code and you have the language and they hear it and then that's incorporated and that's
and they'll do that with my Biden too. My buddy Mike DiCenzo, he does my Biden around the office a lot. He like
a good trick is to at rehearsal is to just throw out shit, even in blocking, and whoever's watching it in the booth can write down stuff, because when you're blocking, you got the stuff right there. Sometimes things just come to you that fit in, and then you can pepper them in, layer them in during the week.
Man, it's the weirdest job in the world.
I get nervous thinking about it. It's like it's an intense
weirdest job in the world.
Hey guys, hi Dana, David, and James. It's a huge honor to just even talk to you guys. Big fan. I remember growing up in Mexico, watching your movies with subtitles, didn't even understand, but it was still freaking hilarious. Master of the Disguise, Tommy Boy, come on.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, my question is, do you guys have any stories from being down in like Mexico or South America? And even if there's an impression in there, be even better.
We better steer clear of that, but Dana, do you have? I don't have any Mexico stories, do you?
What?
Mexico stories?
Oh yeah, I played a corporate date for Terminex.
I think I did too.
And it was all day, so it starts at 7 a.m. They put a giant tent on this lawn at this 5-star hotel, and it was huge. And then I do a little bit of shtick. I'd go back to my room. It's like 500 people. I'd come back, and then it started losing air. The tent started deflating.
Yeah.
By the time I went back, almost everyone was gone. It was halfway down, and they paid me a ton of money, I can tell you that. And I just bombed terribly, but there was no chance. So that was my Mexico Terminex corporate date.
Dude, I did the same gig, and I was there.
You did Terminex?
I did covering for Martin Short. He goes, can you do this for me? I go, yeah. I went all the way there. It was in Dominican Republic or something. And then I get there, and there's so many mosquitoes. the first night. I got in at like 2 a.m. So you know what I did? I took the Raid and I just sprayed my whole body with Raid. And then I just laid there like a trap. And they'd come and they go, and then they go, oh, they look at me and I go, fuck you. And they go, oh. And then I went to the hospital also, but I feel like it was worth it. Dana, let's thank everyone for coming down.
Thank you for coming out, Austin.
Thank you for taking your time. And we'll see you next time. Good night. Come on, James, this way. Thank you.
Fly on the Wall has been a presentation of Cadence 13.
Please listen, then rate, review, and follow all episodes.
Executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Chris Corcoran of Cadence 13, and Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment. Production and engineering led by Greg Holtzman, Richard Cook, Serena Regan, and Chris Basil of Cadence 13.